Hey guys, it's Crystal from Essentially Tarot. Welcome back to my channel. I haven't filmed in a little while, so I apologize for that. Things have been a little crazy around here, but I'm back with another unboxing. First walkthrough, I had to scribble out my address because it's on both sides of the package. Thankfully, I noticed that before uploading. This deck is one that has been out for a little while. Not a very long time. It is new. I got mine though about a week ago, and I had to put off filming, which was ridiculously hard for me because usually when a new deck comes, I want to just tear into it and film right away, but I didn't have a chance. So I have opened the bag here. I have not taken anything out, as you can see. So let's get this open and I will show you what we've got. Okay, here we are. It is out of the packaging. I removed all the plastic wrap. And this is the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle by Mandy Peterson. Now, as you can see, my book got a little dented in shipping, as did my box to some extent, but it's not too terrible. You can kind of see there. It happens. But let's take a look. I guess let's start with the book. Let's take a look in there first before we open up the cards. Yeah, I've been really excited about this. I've been waiting on it for a little while. I backed it on Kickstarter. Here's our contents. Looks like there's a decent amount in here. So we have about the cards, archetypes versus past lives, working with history, ethnic diversity, and political correctness. How can I heal or release past lives? There's a good amount of information. Using a spread. We have different spreads here. And she talks about, we're going to see on the cards, they have kind of different things around the borders of them. And it talks about how we can relate those to each other, which is very interesting. I feel like this book is going to be really useful with these particular cards because they are a little outside of the norm. She even talks about like, what if a divider appears at the top of a card? So that's cool. Here's major themes and archetypes. And then we go into each of the cards. So you see we have a black and white picture of the card name, and then we go with each of the different categories that are around the border of the card. And then she talks about the archetype. So this is addiction. And the archetype says, where have you been playing the role of enabler when it comes to a loved one's bad habits? Where have you secretly wanted him or her to fail with making improvements so that you, oh, there's actually questions for each of, that's cool, for each of the different words around the card. So yeah, so this looks like it's going to be really interesting to work with. And then back here, oh, what is this back here? This is interesting. Hold on, let's figure out what this is because this is really cool. So this is for the card backs. It talks about the card backs and what they are telling us. So we have all different time frames on the backs of the cards. Obviously, we'll see that more when we get into the cards, but this whole back section of the book is working with the backs of the cards instead of the front. So that's cool. So let's move this out of the way and take a look at the actual cards themselves. I'm going to open these up and we're going to zoom in. I guess first let's take a look at the box, right? Because the box is magnetic. Oop, and there are your cards right there. That's cool. That's nice. Obviously they are round. And look how beautiful the edging is on those. Is that focusing? No, it wants to focus on the box. Those are really nice. All right, I'm going to zoom us in. And we're gonna take a look at these cards. Okay, so I have us a little closer. Now, I guess we're gonna have to take a look at the front and the back, right? These came with two different fonts. So this is the font that I chose. While I think the other font was a little prettier, it was kind of like almost like an italicized brush font. I felt like this was the one that was gonna be easier to read and easier to see, which was important to me because when you're doing a reading, especially with something like this where you have these different elements to the card that kind of change the reading depending on what you're looking at, I want to be able to read them, you know, quickly and easily and not have to be like, wait, what does that say? So that's why I went with this particular font choice, but there was a second font choice as well. So you can see here we have abused or abusive relationship. So we have abused, abuser, rescuer, and enabler. So depending on how that works in conjunction with other cards, depending on which way it comes up in a reading, obviously changes which of those you're associating with. But it is interesting to see if you do reverse it. We have the abuser here is a fist. So it does kind of change the visual aspect of it as well. Oh, see, and this is what they're talking about with the backs. Oh, I see. So the backs have all of the different categories around. Interesting. So it'd be interesting to see how these play into a reading. Especially if you're someone like me where, depending on what I'm doing, I don't even look at the card backs necessarily. I kind of automatically flip them and put them on the table. But this kind of urges you, I guess, to lay them down face down first and then flip them. Because if you're going to be utilizing what's going on the back here. So we have self-love lesson, old age, death, stars, location, psychic wounding, trauma, celestial, faith, true love for love, androgynous for identity, pre-earth for time frame. Oh, so I'm assuming, I'm just going to jump to the next one real quick. I'm cheating. I'm assuming they must change as we go. We're going to take a look at that, obviously. So those are the backs. They're really beautiful. But it is interesting to have kind of like this duality to them where the fronts and the backs are telling you two different things. So that is cool. Oh, that is really odd that the first card in the deck was the only one that was upright. These all seem to be reversed. Let's see what happens. So then we have accomplishment. I love like the watercolor style in the artwork. And again, these are kind of, this has like the same time frame and whatnot as the last one. Maybe they'll change as we go. So we have addiction. Again, kind of the same words. Adventurer, how beautiful is that? Same words. So maybe I'm misunderstanding how the backs work. I'm still going to keep checking just in case. Air disaster. Isn't that interesting? We have asteroid, bomb, tornado, plane crash. I guess obviously we're working with past lives, so that makes sense. I was trying to think like, how does that work? Like, what does that mean? But obviously when you're talking past lives, those things can be important. Oh, yep. See, look, now the time frame has changed. Now we're at early Stone Age. The lesson is hubris. Death is animal attack. Location, jungle. Trauma, accident. Faith, nature-based. Possessive in your love. Adult male. Okay, so they do change as we go. So that's good to know. Alternative sexuality. Animals. So if you worked with animals, how animals played a role in your past life. That's a really cool one to kind of touch on. Again, these are all the same backs. Artist. I'll let you know when the backs change. Then we have aesthetic. That's really fun. So we have Buddhist aesthetic, hermit, mystic, Christian aesthetic. Interesting. Oh, here we go. We have a change. So now Neolithic Revolution, overcoming loss, drowning, North America, disaster, magic-based faith, non-possessive love, adult female. So interesting. I'm going to have to read up more on how the backs versus the fronts work because there's so much information just on one card alone. So that's really cool. So here we have astral experiences. That's really beautiful too. Athlete. Duelist. That's fun. I don't know why I found that to tickle me a little bit. Banishment. Interesting. Again, the artwork on these is really beautiful though. I have to see if there's an artist credited. We'll check that out when we're done. So here's beauty. Interesting that on the beauty card we have town beauty, femme fatale, prostitute, and struggling with appearance. Those are some interesting choices on the beauty card. And again, our backs have changed. So we have Age of Atlantis, Abuse of Technology, Accident, Island, Persecution or Torture, Polytheistic, Celibate or Asexual, and Young Male. Here's Brainwashing. Ooh, there's a lot of, oops, sorry. My cards are kind of shifting on me. There's a lot of dark and light in this deck, which I appreciate because I feel like, again, sometimes it's nice to have a feel-good deck where you're all like, everything's happy. This is not that. Here we have Bully, which is interesting because we have Scapegoat, Tormentor, Easy Target, and Flying Monkey. Flying Monkey. That's fascinating. Kind of like you're carrying out the bullying of someone else. Burned. Here's Charity. How charity has played a role in your past life. Oh, and we've changed our backs again. We have Early Bronze Age, Self-Identity, Non-Contagious Illness, Mexico, Imprisonment, Monotheistic, Unrequited Love, Young Female. Oh, here's Childhood Trauma. Children. I apologize. I don't know if you guys can hear that banging in the background. It's actually my neighbor's dog outside. He's jumping against something. So I don't know if that's going to pick up on the camera's microphone, but it's kind of loud here. Here we have City Dweller. Oops. Communications. And oh, these have changed again. So we have, oops. Middle Bronze Age, Self-Expression, Natural Disaster, Central or South America, Exile, Esoteric, Arranged Marriage, and Older Woman. Here's Construction. Current Lifetime, okay. Defender. Destruction. And again, we've changed. So we now have Late Bronze Age, Seeing the Bigger Picture, War, Baltics or Central Europe, Physical or Sexual Abuse, Primal or Aboriginal, Star-Crossed, and Older Man. Ooh, there's a Devil card. Interesting. We have Dark Magic, Possessed, Cursed, and Exorcist. That is quite the range. Here's Diet, Discrimination, Earth Disaster, so drought, building collapse, earthquake, and animal attack. And we've changed again. Oops. So we have Classical Antiquity, Leadership, Fire, Northern Europe, Physical Limitation, Agnostic or Atheist, Domestic Abuse, Sibling. Interesting. Sibling. Enslavement. Execution. I'm not going to start that again with the That was my whole last video. I'm so sorry, you guys. Extraterrestrial. This is cool. So we have Close Encounter, All Off-Worlder, Watcher or Guardian, and Early Earth Dweller. Interesting. Here we have Fall of Civilization. So you can see how these would all kind of play into past lives, which is really cool. Our backs have changed again. So we have Early Middle Ages, Forgiveness, Suicide, Southern Europe, Mental Illness, Gnostic or Dualistic, Separated by Distance, Guru or Idol, and back to Early Middle Ages. Fire Disaster. These are like all encompassing, right? There's a lot going on in these. We have Government. We're going to be here a while. I'm sorry, guys. Oop, this one is upside down. So we have Group Living. which is interesting that we have monastery, commune, tribe, and cult. It's interesting you don't think of a cult as group living, but I suppose, right? Healer. And we've changed again. Now we have Viking Age, accountability, broken heart, Western Europe, slander, pantheistic or animistic, slave or concubine, and child. Okay, so here's health issues. Ice disaster. Not water, ice. That threw me off. Here's imprisonment. Industry. And again, we've changed the backs. Oops. So high Middle Ages, greed, murder, Eastern Europe, poverty, ethical religion, abandonment, devotee or follower, and back to high Middle Ages. Injustice. Look at the picture on injustice, if that doesn't evoke some feelings, right? Here we have insanity. Something that is, again, on the darker side. We don't like to, look too closely at things like that, but, it is a part of life. Sometimes. Here's instruction. Here is intellectual. Aren't these the most beautiful? These pictures are just beautiful. Oh, the background has, the back has changed again. So we have Crusades and Inquisition, power, hypothermia, Oceania, loss of status or reputation, mythical, affair, and grandparent. Here's leadership, loss of a loved one. And I like how they kind of talk about abandonment, death, unexplained disappearance, and war. So it's not just, in the sense of death. We have kind of different options. Then we have magic, maritimer, and our backs have changed again. So we have pre-Columbian Americas, prophecy and gifts, starvation or dehydration, Asia, guilty conscience, forced conversation. That's not what it says. Forced conversion, deceived or betrayed, and grandchild. I don't know if you can hear the dog next door is barking now. There's like a whole drama going on next door. So here we have military. Ooh, murder. I don't know why I said ooh. That card was just really pretty to me with like the whole rainbow effect going on. But we have murdered, murderer, suicide, and witness. So that's cool. Not that it's cool for any of those things to happen, but it's just the varying aspects of it. Nature worship. Then we have obsession. Ooh. And we've changed again. We have late Middle Ages, peace, old age, India, witness or bystander, a secret faith, LGBT, Q+, I'll add that on there myself, and father. Here we have oppression. I like the, we have like this beautiful, woman dressed up, looking pretty, but her mouth is covered. She's oppressed. Here we have peacemaker, performer, poverty. Oop, our backs have changed again. Ooh, age of enlightenment, truth and discernment, poison, Arctic or Antarctic, war, sacrificial, polyamorous or polyamorous? Polyamous? I've never heard that word. I feel kind of silly right now. Oh my goodness, you guys, that says polygamous. Learn how to read, Crystal. That was embarrassing. and mother. Swear I know how to read, you guys. My brain like skipped over that G as a Y. That was silly. Anyway, power, psychic. Now you see why I needed easy to read font, because my brain doesn't always function quickly. Rebel, how cute is the Rebel card? I've always wanted a Volkswagen bus. Religious devotion. And our backs have changed again. Oh my gosh, I know you guys must hear that barking. Age of discovery, overcoming fear, public execution, Russia, betrayal, profit-led, promiscuous, and other relative. Someone who doesn't fall into sibling, mother, father, grandparent. Okay, then we have revolution, rise of civilization, ritual sacrifice. So we have headhunter, ritual priest, cannibal, and human sacrifice. Interesting. Then here's romance. And our backs have changed again. So American Civil War era, passive conformity, torture, underground civilization, wow, psychological or verbal abuse, cult, companionship, and friend. Here's royalty. Oh, okay, so we have direct descendant, distant relation, illegitimate, or deposed or loss of title. Okay. Here's rural living. Oop. Saintly. Oop, I just threw those cards. And secret society. That's cool. And then again, our backs have changed. So we have early modern age, gluttony, dementia, Africa, abandonment, aesthetic. My reading skills are not great right now, you guys. Obsessive, and husband. I just bit my cheek too when I said obsessive. A mess. Okay, so now we have secrets. Oop, reversed. Servant. So we have housework, indentured servant, childcare, and other. Sexual assault. So you can see where this deck, if you're reading for others, could be very triggering. So obviously you might want to be careful in who you are using this with, and be aware of, anything that might provoke unwanted emotions to come out, right? That could be bad. Here we have swindler, technology. Our backs have changed again. Oh, it does not want to focus. There we go. Late modern age, walking the middle path, childbirth, Middle East, material loss, philosophical, widow or widower, and wife. Here we have the law. So we have lawmaker, judge, lawyer, and law enforcement. Torture. Victim, torturer, witness, and informer. Truth seeker. That one's beautiful. I really like that one. Here we have war. And water disaster. There's our water disaster. That ice disaster threw me off, you guys. But there's our water disaster. And our backs have changed again. So we have World War age, becoming more natural, miscarried or died at birth, lost civilization, oppression, fanatical, spinster, and lover. Here's the wealth card. Ooh, the Wild West. So we have cowboy, settler, indigenous person, or other. Here's Wisdom Keeper. That's beautiful too. Ooh, I just lost my son. Here's World War. So we have Allied Defender, Allied Invader, Hiroshima, and Holocaust. And, oh, we have some blank cards. So you can add your own archetypes. So if there's something in here that you feel is missing, you can add those on, which it would be kind of cool to go through like the Carolyn Mist deck, which I do have the Carolyn Mist deck, and it's funny because I forgot to include it in my my video for my Oracle cards, even though it's not quite an Oracle, but her deck is really great for going through archetypes. And then we have, this is kind of like the how to use the cards front and back. Let's read this while we're here. So while the subcategories on the card fronts are related to the theme on that card front, it is not the same for the card backs. The categories on the card backs aren't associated with one another, nor are they related to the subject of the card front. Oh, see the manual for more information on how to use the card fronts, the card backs, and the card fronts and backs together. A free version of the manual is available for download at mysticmandy.com. So if you wanted to see the manual prior to purchasing the deck, you could do that. That's cool. I want to just kind of take a look real quick, just so we can have an idea. I just want to read what she says about using the card fronts and backs. And I'm going to pop back and I'm going to let you know what I learned. Okay, I'm back. So it is kind of how I suspected, or at least initially from what I read. So I'm just going to zoom out for a second. Okay, so let's pretend that we're doing a past life reading, and let's just see. She gives you a couple different options on how to read these, and I'm going to show you what she suggests in the book. And obviously I think it's just kind of a question of what you prefer, quite honestly. Ooh, I just threw one on the floor. It was the law. We just got rid of that. That's down there now. Ooh, okay. So we'll leave that one there. But let's just say we're doing a 4-card. So I'm just gonna, okay, we're gonna do a 3-card because then I'm gonna be out of frame. So she says or suggests that you can either do exactly what I said, where like you lay them down face down and utilize the backs of the cards and then flip them and utilize the fronts. So you can either read obviously what is at the top when you put the cards down. In this case, we literally have 2 cards with like the same backs because I didn't do a great shuffling job. So you could say, okay, the time frame for this past life was pre-Earth. You had companionship, 2 cards. So like maybe really strong companionship, like a soulmate, because there's 2 of them. Or the other way you can read them is where they touch. So we could say that in this life, you passed away from old age. You experienced psychological or verbal abuse. And it was during the American Civil War era. So those are the 2 different ways that you can decide to read the cards. So then it's the same kind of when we flip them. Again, you now have the option of either reading across the top. So again, you could say that in this life you were abused. You were a caretaker and a farmer, which are kind of similar things, right? As a farmer, you're also kind of a caretaker of crops and animals. And the abuse kind of works with what our card backs were saying about physiological and verbal abuse, or was it psychological? I'm trying to read through the camera, you guys. I'm so sorry. A mess. Or again, you can go with where they're touching, which would kind of change the story, because now we're talking about a rescuer and a philanthropist who maybe also had some martyr tendencies. And thought of themselves as kind of a peasant, even though you are a philanthropist, you are giving money, you are helping in charitable ways. You're kind of always playing that martyr card of like, oh, woe is me, I just never have enough money. You know, things are always so tight. So you could see how you could read those a couple of different ways. So a really cool way to utilize these. I'm really excited to hang out with them, spend some time with them. I have been working with the Art History Tarot for Past Lives, or Art History for Past Lives Tarot. I've been working through the workbook that actually goes with that deck as well. Again, fell off on that. I need to kind of get back to that. That was building a really interesting, intricate story for one of my past lives. So I'm interested to see with this deck, is it going to mirror some of that? Is it going to echo some of that? Or is it going to bring me something new? So that is that. That is the Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle by Mandy Peterson. Again, really pretty, really nice matte cardstock, are really not too thick so that you can't riffle shuffle. Like let's just do it. Even though it is a circle deck, I do riffle shuffle my circle deck, so that's a thing. I didn't do a very good job there, but yes, you can riffle shuffle them. And just really nice, just a really nice deck. And her book seems like it is filled with a whole lot of information. So I hope you guys enjoyed that walkthrough, that first peek, first look, whatever we're called. I always change the title of these videos. It's a mess. But if you liked this, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you get notified when I do post new videos, when my life isn't in complete chaos. I love you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Bye.